Selection of the stainless steel crown involves an awareness of the dental width between the teeth adjacent to the preparation. We'd like the stainless steel crown to reproduce the occlusal height and the proximal contacts against the adjacent teeth. We've selected a crown here which is 10.8 millimeters in width, and we're going to seat it partially. And in checking, I find a little bit of open contact areas. And so we're going to go back to the selection kit and select a crown of a slightly wider width. This one, 11.2 millimeters. Leaves us no interdental openings, no open gaps. And so this will become the crown that we're going to fit. Now you can also see that this crown is too tall, that the margins, if this was seated completely, would extend well below the gingiva, causing gingival damage. And so we're going to need to trim these margins to adapt the crown approximately this much from the gingival margin, and the edge of the crown will be trimmed up to here using the crown and bridge scissors. We take the crown and, using a firm grip on the scissors, trim to the distance that we've pre-selected to conform to that region. There are contour differences, and I'm going to stop right here. There are contour differences between the curve, the smile line of the buccal, and more of a frown line in the interproximal, where there will be a different curve, and we'll trim approximately the same amount. I have observed that the crown distance in this area needs to be trimmed about 1.5 to 2 millimeters on the distal proximal. And I've also taken time to look with a similar amount on the lingual, about 2 millimeters, just a little more than we needed to trim on the buccal. And on the mesial, it's a similar, about 1.5 millimeters. Now that distance varies according to the amount of excess that you see that would allow the crown to seat completely and conform to the occlusal plane of the adjacent teeth. Keep in mind that the trimmings are sharp and they should be treated as a hazardous waste. Let's try the crown back on now that we've trimmed our buccal and lingual and proximal margins. The goal is to avoid impinging the gingiva, and in this case we see an area towards the mesial which is impinging upon the gingiva in this area. It looks like we're pretty close to the amount that we need trimmed here. So I'm going to go back with the crown scissor and trim a little more on the mesial buccal. And try the crown in again. Checking for the occlusion, we're at about the same height, and we will oppose this towards the end, about the same height as the adjacent teeth.